Hi, I'm Deborah, guiding you through the past week of news reported on western-water.com. Today we begin with fire.
Welcome to Western Water Weekly, your source of plain-spoken news highlights from the Colorado River Basin states.
Across the Colorado River Basin, hundreds of thousands of acres are burning as extreme heat, critically dry vegetation, and powerful winds combine to create dangerous conditions from Arizona to Utah. But the fires are only part of a much bigger story. Let's get started. If there is one story that defines the West this week, it is wildfire. Utah has declared a statewide emergency as multiple large fires continue burning across the state, including the Cottonwood Fire, which has become one of the largest active wildfires in the United States. The Cottonwood Fire has burned more than 92,000 acres near Beaver, severely damaged Eagle Point Ski Resort, and has been driven by steep terrain, powerful winds, and exceptionally dry fuels. Elsewhere in Utah, the Iron Fire and the Cherry Fire have forced evacuations and road closures while firefighters continue battling rapidly changing conditions. Utah is not alone in this fight across the West. Arizona crews continue working on the Sycamore Fire near Globe, while firefighters near Sedona are battling the Pocket Fire under red flag conditions, with mandatory evacuations affecting parts of Oak Creek Canyon and beyond. Nevada is dealing with the Grapevine and Cane Springs fires, together accounting for more than 40,000 acres. New Mexico has multiple active incidents, including the McCauley Springs fire near Jemez Springs, where evacuations remain in effect. Colorado has largely gained control of the Dry Creek Fire near Rifle, while Wyoming continues monitoring the Kinky Creek Fire. Taken together, more than 227,000 acres are burning across the Colorado River Basin states, and unfortunately the weather isn't offering much help. The latest U.S. Drought Monitor helps explain why these fires have spread so aggressively. Extreme to exceptional drought now stretches across much of the Four Corners region. Arizona currently has some of the poorest rangeland conditions reported anywhere in the West, while large portions of Colorado and Wyoming continue to deteriorate. Although cooler temperatures may arrive across portions of the northern Rockies, forecasters expect much of the desert Southwest to remain hotter and drier than normal. That means elevated wildfire danger is likely to continue. After all of that, here's a piece of genuinely encouraging news. Americans are quietly becoming far more efficient with water. A newly released study by the Water Research Foundation found that indoor residential water use has fallen by more than 44% since 1999. The average person now uses about 30 fewer gallons of water every day inside the home than they did nearly 3 decades ago. Perhaps the most surprising finding is why. Researchers say most families didn't dramatically change their habits. Instead, newer toilets, washing machines, faucets, and other appliances simply became much more efficient over time. Sometimes conservation doesn't require sacrifice. Sometimes it just requires better technology. Water law also made headlines this week. A federal appeals court ruled that the Endangered Species Act continues to govern how the Bureau of Reclamation operates the Klamath project, one of the West's largest irrigation systems. The decision reinforces that federal agencies must consider endangered fish when managing water deliveries, even when farmers are facing severe shortages. That matters because this year's water supply is already dramatically below demand. Farmers served by the Klamath project are expected to receive barely over half the water they need this irrigation season. The ruling could have implications well beyond Oregon and Northern California, especially in western states where endangered species and water rights increasingly collide. Meanwhile, one of North America's most persistent water pollution problems continues making headlines. California has announced $46 million in additional grant funding aimed at improving conditions along the Tijuana River and the New River, where untreated sewage, trash, and industrial pollution continue flowing across the international border. Researchers are also asking residents to help document the economic impacts of the sewage crisis, including effects on tourism, businesses, property values, recreation, and public health. Even officials in Tijuana are now calling on Mexico's federal government to step up maintenance and cleanup efforts. One story from the past week also came with an unusual twist. The same Ohio company that received a federal contract to test experimental nanobubble technology on the Tijuana River also received a contract to improve the water quality in Washington, D.C.'s famous reflecting pool. Unfortunately, the company's equipment on the Tijuana River was literally washed away during a storm, and later the reflecting pool made headlines after turning green with algae. Sometimes reality has a sense of irony that no scriptwriter could invent. The important story, however, is that pressure continues building on both sides of the border for permanent wastewater infrastructure instead of temporary fixes. Here's something that may surprise you. Until now, the federal government has never had a single standard for counting visitors to America's public lands and waters. Different agencies use different methods, making it nearly impossible to compare recreation across national parks, forests, reservoirs, wildlife refuges, and other public lands. That changed this week with the release of the first Unified Federal Recreation Visitation Report. The new system will help agencies better understand how Americans use public lands and hopefully improve future planning for recreation, infrastructure, and resource protection. For communities throughout the Colorado River Basin, where lakes and rivers support millions of visitors every year, that's information that could become increasingly valuable. Finally, in New Mexico, the legal challenges surrounding Project Jupiter continue. A judge dismissed for the second time a lawsuit challenging approvals for the massive Oracle and OpenAI data center project near Las Cruces, although the plaintiff has been given another opportunity to amend the complaint. Meanwhile, separate lawsuits continue over public records requests, zoning approvals, and alleged violations of New Mexico's Open Meetings Act. The legal questions surrounding one of the country's largest proposed artificial intelligence data centers are far from settled. As always, we'll continue following these stories as they develop. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
That wraps up this week's Western Water Weekly. All of the stories we covered are reported in full at western-water.com. Be sure to check back next Sunday for our next roundup. Thanks for watching.